In anything you're doing, if you don't do it intentionally, it's not going to occur. No one wins anything accidentally. It's an intentional act. Winning always is it. I built a house of cards because I was in a hurry to get rich, and then I was just appalled and shocked that the house of cards fell. Well, guess what houses of cards do? They fall. All the time. There's no such thing as a well-constructed house of cards. The point is, it's fragile, it's volatile, it falls in. He who hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. I mean, we were sitting in one of our leadership team meetings yesterday, as a matter of fact, here at Ramsey, and we were looking at a business unit, and they kept going, well, we need to do this, we need to do this. And we did not have agreement on the baseline data of what was actually going on. One person thought one thing was going on, one thought another was going on. And I said, we got to back up. We got to put data in front of us. And once we all agree on exactly where we are, then we can discuss where we're going. And I think, building wealth or having a high quality life in any area is a little bit like that. You need to back up and say, okay, what are the principles before I worry about the tactics? And the principles should lead us to the tactics. And the 5 money principles, if we wanted to pull some out, yes, there would be common sense biblical things that are kind of boring. But if you lay those principles in place, then they'll lead you to the tactics. I mean, here's one: live on less than you make. Now that sounds kind of almost glib. The Bible says the borrower is, it says a foolish man devours all he has. Live on less than you make. You need to be on a written plan. In anything you're doing, if you don't do it intentionally, it's not going to occur. No one wins anything accidentally. It's an intentional act. Winning always is. At marriage, at taking care of your body, building a business, money. No one accidentally gets wealthy. It just, what happened? No one does that. So that's a written plan. That's called a budget. And so we got to have a budget. We got to live on less than we make. If you get out of debt mathematically, what it does is you have money to invest. Because when you have a $750 payment on your Ford F-150, you got no money. And so that money's going to Ford instead of to you. It's not going in your 401k. And so that's what the borrower is slave to the lender means. But also what happens when you get out of debt is you have this sense of freedom. You have this sense of autonomy, the sense of agency. You're not being controlled by the man. Stinking Bank of America. It doesn't tell you what to do. Ford Motor Credit doesn't tell you what to do. So you don't have to keep a horrible job. You can move to a better job and take that risk. But if you got to pay payments, you don't feel free. And so, being out of debt, living on less than you make, having a written plan, obviously saving and investing. Obviously, in the house of the wise are stores of choice food and oil. Grandma said, have money saved for a rainy day. We start with an emergency fund, and then we long-term invest. Yeah. In the largest study of millionaires ever done in North America, we did it here at Ramsey, we discovered that the typical way someone gets their first 1 to 5 million is they have a paid-off house, and they have a really healthy 401k or Roth IRA combo in good mutual funds. And so they'll be sitting there with $1 million in their retirement accounts after 10, 12, 15 years of doing this, and they got a $500,000 or $700,000 paid for house, so they got a $1.7 million net worth. And so this save money. And the weird thing is that there's no, all the get-rich-quick stuff on TikTok and all that. There's always some way. There's a new version of stupid every year. Well, taking the long haul, being the tortoise versus the hare, is not human nature. Right. Our brains are wired by God for efficiency. We want to burn the least calories possible to get the job done, whatever it is, which in the financial world causes us to look at get rich quick. And we don't think of it as stupid. I didn't think of it as stupid when I did it in the 80s and bought, I started with nothing, had $4 million worth of real estate, lost everything because I had borrowed too much money on the real estate and crashed my own life down on my head. I didn't think I was being foolhardy, impulsive. I thought I was burning the least calories to get to the goal. I thought this is the way to go. And people that are buying crypto, that's what they think. I mean, no one thinks they're gambling. They don't think, oh, has worse odds than a roulette wheel, which it actually did mathematically, but they didn't think that. Right. They thought this is the least calories to burn to get to the goal. So that's just the human brain doing what it's supposed to do. We're just efficiency experts all the time in everything we do. What's the least effort to get to the goal? They believe, again, it's the most efficient way to get there. I didn't think that there was a high probability I was going to fail doing nothing down real estate. I did not. It never occurred to me, number one. And then number two, pride comes right before the fall. Mm-hmm. There's an arrogance. I was smart. I understood that debt knocked over some people. I understood that sometimes people got in trouble, but I thought, oh, I can do this. 24 and a half years and a college degree in real estate. By God, I can do this, and there was that in there, that arrogant little twerp, he was there. And so there's a combination of this pride, and that then leads you to, again, these principles that lead you to bad tactics, or principles that lead you to good tactics.
Yes.
And the principle was a bad principle that I was functioning in, and just put a little icing on the cake of a little pride, a little arrogance that says, oh, yeah, I know that for that guy, but I'm really good at math. And I grew up in the real estate business, and I know things. Just ask me, And that you see this, you can actually see that dripping off of some of the stuff that's posted on the Get Rich Quick stuff. Stuff that criticizes you, stuff that criticizes me, stuff that criticizes our friend Craig Groeschel or whoever. I mean, you can see anybody that's playing a long game, or Simon Sinek's Infinite Game, right? Anybody's playing a long game, the short-term thinkers all have to pile on, and there's always that dripping arrogance around it. I could recognize it because I was the same guy. I did the same. I would have been the guy trashing that guy. I would have been the guy trashing me when I was 26, because I would have been going, no, that doesn't apply to me. Yeah, I understand, Ramsey, but that's for regular people. I'm not regular. So there's that in there. So we got get out of debt. We've got live on less than you make. We got to have a budget. We got to save. And the last one is you need to be outlandishly, outrageously generous and walk around with an open hand. Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. Let's try that again, because that's one you need to know. Proverbs 13:11. Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. Another proverb says, he who hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. Hastens, hastily. That's not a word we use today. That's kind of an old English word, isn't it? But what's it mean? You're in too big a freaking hurry. That's what it means. You're trying to get rich quick. Get rich quick will not go unpunished. That's what it said. And wealth gained quickly doesn't last usually. That's what this says. But people that gather wealth little by little increase wealth. The vast majority of people who are wealthy, 90+% of the people that I have met and worked with, the thousands and thousands of millionaires I've worked with over the years, did it gradually. Now, I'm not against getting money quickly if you want to do that. I'm not saying you're evil or it's bad, but there are all kinds of problems that go with it when it comes quickly. Because what happens to most of us is as we grow our wealth, we as individuals are emotionally and spiritually maturing. We are growing. And so the wealth never gets so big that it crushes us under our character is strong enough to carry it as we build it gradually and we build our character gradually. That's the only shot. But, how many times have we seen the young athlete that gets money and it destroys their life? The young music artist that gets money and it destroys their life. The young actor that gets money and they're in rehab for the rest of their life. Because they didn't have the emotional, in their case, character to carry it. And it doesn't have to be young. It can be old. How many times have you heard somebody 55 years old that never had any money in their whole life and then they win the lottery? And it destroys their life. It wasn't a blessing. See, wealth gained hastily will dwindle. He who hastens, who's in a hurry to be rich, will not go unpunished. That happened to me. I got rich quick. I started from nothing. We graduated from college. Sharon and I got married at 22 years old. By the time I was 26, I was a millionaire. How did I do that? I borrowed it all. I had $1 million net worth. I had $4 million worth of real estate, $3 million worth of debt. 4 minus 3 is 1. I was a millionaire. And I made $250,000 that year. That was 1983, 1985. I mean, that's a long time ago. That's a lot of money, even then. A lot of money now. But it was a house of cards. I had so much debt, and I wasn't behind with anyone. I wasn't late on the payments. But the bank got sold to another bank. They called our notes because I was an idiot that signed up and gave them the ability. I had a lot of short-term notes because I was flipping houses before there was cable TV to tell you how. I built a house of cards because I was in a hurry to get rich, and then I was just appalled and shocked that the house of cards fell. Well, guess what houses of cards do? They fall. All the time. There's no such thing as a well-constructed house of cards. The point is, it's fragile, it's volatile, it falls in. He who hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. You're trying to get rich quick, you're trying to play the lotto, you get punished because you throw your money down the toilet. You go in there and buy a lotto ticket, you get nothing. You got nothing. Nothing. Think about every action that someone takes to become wealthy easily and quickly usually results in punishment. This is dead on. These scriptures are straight up truth. And John Tyler said it this way: wealth can only be accumulated by the earnings of industry and the savings of frugality. Well, wealth that lasts, that's all it is. But you can get wealth other ways. You can get wealth by sudden fame. You can get wealth by sudden, you can hit the lottery, 1 in a bazillion people do. But the rest of everybody else is trying to win the wealth that way gets punished by losing their money. Instead of investing their money little by little will increase your wealth. That's where real wealth comes from. The highest probability of building wealth, the best way to get rich quick is to get rich slow.